If you are watching this video and you are not a profitable sports bettor, then this video is for you. I have been working in the sports betting industry for about 20 months now, and I have talked to a lot of users of oddsjam, a lot of sports bettors, and I found that a lot of what holds sports bettors back from making money, a lot of it is just the mindset. And I found that there are some common things that are holding sports bettors back, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So what we are going to discuss is what is holding you back from making money as a sports bettor. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. As for me, my name is Matt Modi, content creator and betting analyst for oddsjam.com. While you're here, would appreciate it if you could like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jedi Modi Sports Betting. You can also hit me up at my Twitter handle you see on the screen here at Jedi Modi as well. But we can get right into it. And honestly, a lot of what I've seen about what's holding sports bettors back, a lot of it is just their mindset. There are a couple different things, a couple different ways of thinking that we need to rearrange. And that I honestly believe will help you become a profitable sports bettor. Number one, and this is definitely the most important one, is the thought that line shopping doesn't really matter because getting a better spread by a half point or a full point, what's it matter? Because it's unlikely that the spread or the total or whatever lands exactly on that number. Technically, they are correct. If you're betting over 211 and every other book has it at 212, what are the chances that it'll land at exactly 212 points? Probably not high. For that one individual bet, technically that person is correct. Now, multiply that one individual bet by 1,000 bets, by 2,000 bets, by 10,000 bets. Well, yeah, that half point, that full point starts to matter a lot more. The example that I like to give regarding line shopping is, so here's the scenario. You placed 1,000 bets, you placed them at minus 110 odds, and you placed $100 on every bet. You placed 1,000 bets with that scenario. Let's pretend you won exactly half your bets. You won 50% of your bets. Guess what? You just lost 5K. You lost 5 grand from winning half your bets. Now let's up that win percentage from 50% just to 5%, to 55%. Same exact scenario, 1,000 bets at minus 110 odds, $100 per bet. Well, going from 50% of winning your bets to 55% of winning your bets, you have gone from losing 5K to now up 4.9K. Now, 5% doesn't really feel that different. But, I mean, what do you think? 5% of the time Vegas gets it right and the total lands on the exact number? If that's the case, that is literally the difference between losing 5K and being up 4.9K. It matters a ton. And just think about it logically. You could have, depending on your state, like 10 sportsbooks at your disposal. It really doesn't make sense if you want to bet on a team like the Sixers at -6, if you can get them at -5. Sure, for this one individual bet, it might not matter, but also, like, what's the point? Wouldn't you just want to maximize the percent chance of winning your bets? Let's also pretend that we're talking about like a money line. You could bet the Sixers at -150, or you could bet them at -120. Sure, they're either going to win or they'll lose, but aren't you going to want to maximize the amount of money you could possibly make on this bet? So the thought that line shopping doesn't matter, I heard that a lot in my comments when I'm saying like, this is a really good bet. We're getting it at 7. Every other book has it at 8 or whatever it may be. I get a lot of comments about like, what's it matter? That's just like 1 point. That matters in the long run. So the mindset of line shopping not actually mattering that much, it's something that we kind of need to get away from because it actually matters a ton. It's like the most important thing you can do as a sports bettor is just to line shop. Now, next up, the next mindset that I want us to get away from is avoiding bets because we don't think that they're going to hit. Right? And normally this is like avoiding bets that are plus money. Like, why would I place a bet if the win percentage is below 50%? Which I understand. And honestly, before I discovered oddsjam, I was the most guilty of doing this. I would only bet on plays that I thought were going to hit. Well, here's the thing. I guarantee you don't have a 100% accuracy prediction when it comes to sports betting. Did you have TCU beating Michigan in the college football playoffs? I doubt it. Did you have Purdue losing to Fairleigh Dickinson? I doubt it. Did you have Princeton going to the Sweet 16? Again, I doubt it. Here's the thing. Sports are unpredictable. Upsets happen all the time. If we could accurately predict what was going to happen in sports, they wouldn't be fun because that takes away all of the excitement. So like I said, upsets happen all the time, and plus money bets hit all the time as well. And I see a lot of people talk about like they're scanning through the oddsjam positive EV page and they avoid a play because they didn't like it, because they didn't think it was going to hit. And that's a bad idea. If you are avoiding plays that do have some sort of calculated edge solely because you don't think that they're going to hit, that's the wrong mindset. And that's something that we need to get away from. Another thing that is not necessarily a mindset, but more so kind of like a sports betting mistake that people make is honestly, people bet too much money on individual bets. Now, generally, the best practices when it comes to bankroll management is that you shouldn't bet more than 5% of your bankroll on one given bet. Now, you hear a lot of people talking about like units. 1 unit equals 1% of your bankroll. So you should never bet more than 5 units or more than 5% on your bankroll on one given play. If you're sweating a play and it literally makes or breaks your night because of how much money you have on it, you probably put too much money on it. Now, one thing I do want to be clear, you can bet up to 50% of your bankroll on one given night, but you have to spread that out over the course of 20, 30, even 50 plus bets. Assuming every single bet you place has an edge, what you actually want to do is place as many bets as possible for lower unit size as opposed to the opposite. I think we kind of need to get away from this thought, and this kind of goes back to our last point, that we're trying to pick winners and win the highest percent of your bets. No, what we're trying to do is make money. So again, going back to the previous point, if you're placing 30 bets and every single one of them is at plus money, guess what? You don't need to win 50% of your bets. And you're much more likely to win 15 of 30 when every single bet has an edge than win 1 of 2, because you're just giving yourself a very, very small sample size of having a day end up being horribly just because you put too much on a given bet. So in reality, betting too much money, obviously that's not necessarily a mindset. It's more so just people thinking that, oh, I'm so confident in this bet that I'm going to put more money on it. The reality is, like I said, sports are unpredictable. You shouldn't avoid plus money plays, and you also shouldn't bet too much money on one given play if it's going to just totally make or break your night. If you're sweating over it, probably you're betting too much. And then the last one that I want to talk about, and this is definitely a mindset thing, is people that freak out over a smaller sample size. I've literally heard from users, and I'm recording this at the beginning of baseball season, so this is very topical. A sports bettor was like, you know what, I placed 3 bets on baseball yesterday and I went 1 and 2. You know, I don't think baseball is for me. Or I was tailing a pick from oddsjam and it lost, so I don't think I'm going to be doing that anymore. Unfortunately, when it comes to sports betting, variance is going to happen. Whether every single bet you place has the best edge possible, you're going to have down days, weeks, down months. Freaking out over a smaller sample size, or even freaking out over just having bad variance, you're going to have a bad time. It's as simple as that. And you're going to make decisions that you shouldn't make because of these small sample size. Again, assuming every single bet you place has an edge, you want the law of large numbers to work out in your favor, especially when we're talking about a sport like baseball that has 162 games. The night-to-night variance is going to be wild. But over the course of the season, everything will kind of be how they're supposed to be generally. But on a night-to-night basis, yeah, crazy stuff is going to happen. And it's the same thing for specific markets. Like, oh, I bet 3 player props and they all lost, so I'm not doing that anymore. Or like I bet first half totals, whatever it may be. If you're making sweeping decisions off of a small sample size, that's, again, there's something bad that you should avoid doing because it's not going to help you be a profitable sports bettor in the long run. So a couple mindsets that when it comes to sports betting that we need to get rid of. Number 1, line shopping doesn't matter. We need to stop thinking that way. It absolutely does matter. Number 2, that we shouldn't bet plays that are plus money or plays that we don't think are going to hit, even if they have some sort of edge. Just saying, I'm avoiding this positive EV play because I don't think it's going to hit, right? We're not betting to win the most of our bets. We're betting to make money. And an easy way to make money, hit plus money plays. Number 3, not necessarily a mindset thing, but just betting too much money on one or more individual plays. Those plays themselves, you should never bet more than 5% of your bankroll on one given bet. If you are doing more than that, it's definitely too much. And if you have to sweat out one particular bet, it's probably too much. Then lastly, freaking out over something with a small sample size and then making some sort of a sweeping decision based off of that. I lost my first 3 baseball bets. I'm not going to bet baseball anymore. I lost my first 3 player props, so I'm not going to do that anymore. Stuff like that is the kind of mindset that we need to avoid. But hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully it made sense. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. As I mentioned, comment, like, subscribe, hit me up on my Twitter handle, JediModi, and that's it. So I appreciate everybody for watching and have a good one.